Howdy, y'all. No music today. Don't worry about it, though. Not trying to. Alright, let's see here. Let's see. Oh, let's share that out there, too. Hey, look at there. 2 people in already. Ooh, that's going to be a short. Everett, give me a second. I walked out here with not enough. Be right back. Promise. Sorry about that. I got enough in here, though. Whew. So, you gotta tell me, or at least help me out. Is sound quality okay? And am I doing a whole lot of buffering? Are there any real issues other than the fact that I forgot to check to see that the can I brought out had enough? Well, the app updated, and the last time I had an app update, I was on Streamlabs, and when Streamlabs updated, for about, what was it, 3 or 4 weeks, I couldn't do a live stream. Because I obviously don't have 1,000 YouTube viewers. And probably never will. It's okay. I don't mind. That's so sad, though. Look at that. So empty. So empty. But I will tell you, that it was very good. And if you remember that can that I showed you earlier, well, now it's plenty full enough for a couple of bowls. So I figured I'd come out and smoke and see if the updates, which I never trust an app that just updated until I've tested it thoroughly. So I was looking through some things on it. They've moved some things around. It's all on my end, though. It's not on yours, so that's a good thing. Like now, to type anything in, I have to first hit the little bubble for, it looks like the bubbles you'd put on a picture. And then I have to take that and tap on 2 other spots so I can get it to type. It used to be I tap on that one little bubble and just start typing. So where if you scroll way up and you see where it says howdy y'all. Yes. Testing. 1, 2, 3. But I also had to make sure that I could tweet it out. For those of you who aren't on Twitter, that makes no difference at all. But I know that one of our fearless leaders, one Mr. Phil Goodman, he puts out a lot of stuff on the Twitter, and so I'll probably be keeping it until he at least says that he's out. Not saying that that's the only reason I'll be keeping it, but at least until he says he's out. Just is what it is. Oh, so how y'all doing tonight? Hopefully this is, well, some of y'all are still in the afternoon, right? 4 o'clock in extreme western part of civilization. Or, some parts of Alaska, it's barely past noon. No, this is not the pipe I've been working on. Not the pipe at all that I've been working on. Didn't bring it outside, but I will. Just give me a half second. My pipework box. If you're polite enough to ask, I'm definitely going to try and show it off to you. Okay. So the first pipe is right here. I find that just the oils in my hand tend to make it dull up a bit, but just quickly wiping it down with a paper towel shines it right back up at this stage. I am looking at getting the right equipment to put a Caranuba wax coat on it. So we're going to turn it real slow and let you see just about every angle. So this is the first one. Fairly certain that this one is briar. Nobody has come back and said that it is not. Look, I got the stem all in there sideways. Never mind. Nobody's really here to see that the stem is perfectly straight. Okay, so a little bit of a nice grain pattern through there, and doing my best to show it to its best sides so that you can see all of it. Now this is the one that bubbled up on the very first smoke. It literally just looked like somebody boiled it. It was horrible. And then there is this one, which is an old $5 garage sale. Howdy, Boris. So, before I go any further, howdy, Steph and Skip. Howdy, Everett. Howdy, Todd. And howdy, Boris. There. I've gotten everybody. Everybody who's typed anything in yet. So this is an old $5 garage sale pipe. And I dropped it and took a chip out of it. So I'm probably going to shorten that. Just because there is now a crack right in here, and if I take that crack completely off, that should keep it from spreading. I can fix anything that I take off, except for the fact that it'll be shorter, but that's okay, because the only stem I've got for it right now is a piece of a Missouri meerschaum cob that burned out with an old leftover bit. But this, according to talking with Mike at the Briar Blues, sorry, didn't mean to almost get that name wrong. He says that this looks extremely a lot like pear. And one other person has commented that this looks very much like oak. Now, I'm not going to say that either one is right or wrong, because, let's be honest, I am not an arborist or a horticulturist, and I wasn't there when the tree got chopped down. Howdy, Kirk. Glad you could make it in today. But yes, this is, like I said, it's just a damn good chunk of a pipe that smoked well. But it was a $5 pipe, and it also had the same problem where the coating on it bubbled up. Now, I'll tell you, I took a lot of time on the first one, the smaller straight-sided one, and I did not take nearly as much time on the second one. This is literally, it's just something I'm doing to learn, and then hopefully move on to the next stage, which for me will be getting a hobby block, or there's a couple places out there that they sell unfinished briar. It's already shaped, it's already a pipe, it's ready to go, but somebody just needs to finish it. And I'm seeing where I can be and what I can do. So even if I don't end up going the hobby block route, I could see about trying to create pipes that somebody's already shaped and formed, and then just finish them off. It's just something to do. Now, what I want to do is I'd love to progress to the point where I actually go and select some chunks of briar, drill the damn thing myself, put a piece of material on there that's going to be stem, do all of that myself, literally making my own pipes. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to do that because I find it fun and interesting. But I like working with my hands. I always have. That's why I was an electrician for 18 years. My God, those guys work with their hands all the time. Pretty damn good at it too. I made some good coin. But you know, having never really been a personal type of person, I don't make friends very much. Kind of cool having all of these friends, here on the YTPC. Sometimes I'm wondering if it's licensed. Well, that's a different story. Could I still do it? They can't take the knowledge away until they kill me. I haven't actually been working as a licensed electrician in quite some time, but that has something to do with the state of Texas changing the rules and me changing a job description. When I say me changing a job description, I went from being a electrician to being a boiler inspector. And in the state of Texas, there's been exactly one person in the whole time that they've had electrical license and boiler license that has made the jump from electrician to boiler inspector. One, single, only. Has to do with both sets of testing are extremely hard. Nobody wants to go through a harder test after they've passed one of those. Me, I just like to learn stuff. You hear all the time, oh, you got to go to college to make anything of yourself. Not true. Now, I will go as far as to say college or trade. College or trade. But there are exceptions to that statement, too. Something tells me, way back in the day, Bill Gates did not actually go to college for computer anything. Way back in the day, Steve Jobs didn't go to college to learn Apple processing. If you come up with something on your own that is way better than what everybody else has ever come up with, you don't need college or a trade. But being able to solder a circuit, being able to do some of this stuff, unless you're some sort of savant, some college or some trade school might benefit you in your attempts at creating the next best whatever. Get to the chopper. Oh, what is that? Well, it's not live flight, so we're okay. They're not landing here for me anyways. And yes, just for Steph and Skip's sake, I had to throw that quote in there. Get to the chopper. So today might be the very last free American tailgate. Tomorrow, we're supposed to have the inauguration of Joe Biden. Things can get stupid ridiculous here in the next 24 hours. I'm going to say it. I hope that everything just goes smoothly and that nobody tries to do a bunch of stupid shit. Worst case scenario, what? 4 years of Biden, or somewhat less than 4 years of Biden, and then finished off by Harris? Actually, worst case scenario could be that they just sell completely out to China and let it roll at that. But hey, I'm in Texas. There's a lot of things that Texas would do that maybe the rest of this country wouldn't, but I'm not getting in on that. I'm just saying this could be the last ever free American tailgate. I'm not worried. Yeah. No, see, it is not going to be one of those where we go to sleep Americans and wake up Chinese. It'll always be one of those where they try to slowly erode our rights and our freedoms, and then once they have enough of them taken out, they'll go for the whole cookie. But they don't have that yet. They don't have that yet because they haven't outlawed guns yet. Of course, that's been on the Biden-Harris agenda for a while. Hey, poor people, why would rich people want to be the only people that have guns? They can afford people to have the guns for them so that they don't even have to touch them. That way they can defend themselves, or actually they can pay someone to defend them. Unlike us poor people who have to just rely on our own damn selves to defend ourselves. Oh well. Government knows where I'm at. They know what it'll take to get them. They know. You don't train someone how to destroy something like a tank or a plane or a helicopter or artillery pieces or whatever you have, and then not keep tabs on them. Just the truth. That's why back in the day, 52 Delta, my MOS, you were trained at Fort Belvoir, just to the south of Washington, D.C., demolitions base. Howdy, Mike. I'm not sure about man. I'm just a great big kid with a decent beard for my age. Sorry, yeah. I can't tell that lie with a straight face. Yeah, I'm with you, Boris. Oh, the pipe. Well, pipe's just an inanimate object. And because it's me, it's only tobacco. Let's see, what's it been for the last so well, Ryan, I don't know those answers. Actually, I probably do know those answers, but I don't see any reason why anybody would want to donate to me, so I'm not going to answer them anyways. Well, who was the king of Wakanda? I don't care. And no, not actually a Biden supporter, nor am I a Trump supporter. Let's see. 4 years ago when Trump got elected, I was like, it's a sad state of America where both parties roll out a pile of shit and they say, these are your two choices to vote on. And then 4 years later, you know what? Both parties did the same exact thing. Do I think that Trump did a decent job? Yeah, I think he did a decent job. Does he say things the way a politician would say things? No. No, he doesn't say anything the way a politician would say it. And that's what people had a hard time understanding. He talked more like a construction hand talked than he did a politician. Y'all don't believe me? You should go out to the construction sites. Shoo. We make sailors blush. We don't care. But let's see, in my lifetime, there was Nixon, Carter. Okay, so that was red, blue. Reagan, that's red. Another Reagan. Then a Bush. Okay, so that's 3 sets of red. And then it was Clinton, Clinton, Bush, Bush, Obama, Obama, Trump. Basically, until the president becomes an enemy of the Constitution of the United States of America, I'm not going to worry about it. Howdy, Cliff. Great seeing you here. Now, here's the one question I would have for anybody who's American. Just want y'all to think about this. Every politician, except for the President of the United States, that is above your local politics. So once they clear state level, they become a national politician. That means Congress and senators. Okay. Every one of them. Also, you have the Supreme Court. Every one of them has had to swear the same oath as what every member of the military has had to swear. See, think about that. And then you got to ask yourself, how come the military does or doesn't vote one or the other for one or the other? The question of let's see, we could also go SEW, and then it would be needle pulling thread. La, a note to follow so. T, a drink with jam and bread, or with a pipe if I can get one. Which brings us back to do. Mike, I don't know you. And then you came in asking if I was a Biden supporter. And then you're making weird questions. And then you're talking to Ryan, whoever Ryan was. Very nice, very nice. I know exactly what you're talking about there, Cliff. If I would have had the right time and the money, I'd have been all over it myself. So I will say, are we looking forward to a certain Zoom meeting later this evening? No, they don't swear an oath to the Constitution. They swear an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Meaning from the United States or from everywhere else. Meaning you don't get to choose what part of the Constitution you like and will defend. You defend the whole damn thing. You don't say, let's cherry pick one or the other, okay? If people were going to cherry pick, women might as well not vote. Black people or people of color in general just forget about it. It can get very, very clear that, oh, well, they're just going to start cherry picking. So the people who like to defend the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and religion, and of the press. They tend to forget that there's a comma, religion, comma, the press. Okay, then there's those people that like to jump all over the Second Amendment, and they like to say, well, the Second Amendment didn't apply to anything but muskets. Google the puckle gun. It also applied to the cannon you could park in your front yard. Well, it seems like they're pulled back on the cannon thing. Puckle gun was available. Let's see. Semi-automatic weapons actually were available. If you don't believe me, the Lewis and Clark expedition, Thomas Jefferson, the guy who wrote the Constitution, well, because his penmanship was so much better than everybody else's, Thomas Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark with a supply of semi-automatic rifles. But no, the forefathers never could have foreseen the AR-15, which is the size of a .22 long rifle. You don't believe me? All you gotta do is look at the size of it from the back side. It is 1/100th of an inch bigger around. You can't even see that with the naked eye. Just saying. And Cliff, you're exactly right. The Second Amendment is there so that people can protect themselves from a tyrannical government. If everything in the United States goes to crap, this is the one directive that was so important that they said after free speech, free religion, and free press, they said, now let's figure out a way to defend that. Everybody can own firearms. Oh, but the Second Amendment doesn't apply to AR-15s. Because they couldn't have foreseen automatic and semi-automatic weapons. Well, actually they could because they were available. They were expensive. They weren't very reliable back then, but they were available. So then I have to ask everybody one simple question on that statement. Where the fuck was Twitter, Facebook, and all these social medias back then? Because I goddamn guarantee you the forefathers couldn't have foreseen this shit. If you don't like my point, leave. If you don't like my statement, leave. I don't care. You can thumbs down me for all I give a shit. It's just plain that simple. Mike, you're a fucking idiot. There. I'm out to piss you off. In fact, I'm going to start looking for every video that you ever get on, and I'm going to talk shit about you for the rest of your life. And I got plenty of time. It's real simple. Less bullets and less guns does not mean less deaths. People have been killing each other for millions of years. Firearms have only been around for about 200 of it. 300, sorry. Came about before we actually sailed over here, so 14, let's call it 1100 BC, 1100 now, so less than 1,000 years, and people have been killing each other for millions of years. You don't believe me? Go ask yourself who's the first people that killed each other. They were brothers. One of them picked up a rock and killed the other. You figure it out. bows, arrows, knives, swords. So if y'all want to understand where I'm at, I'm there. And until you join a military and then go through all of that training, you can kiss my ass on whether you think guns and bullets are going to cause more people to die. I'll tell you that none of mine have actually had to kill anybody. But there's been more than a few times I've been real happy I had them with me. Then if you think that less bullets and guns means less death, then you didn't actually spend any time in the military with your eyes and ears open. You walked through it blindfolded with your ears plugged up and somebody probably kicking you square in the ass the whole time. You know, I tell everybody, send your trolls to me because I don't give a shit. So, keep coming, Mike. Mess around. Piss me off. It's not gone good for any of the other trolls. Oh, Cliff, I love you too, brother. In general society, let's see, in a perfect society, communism works. Well, society's not perfect, and communism doesn't work. So you can shove that clean up your ass too. Really? Because you're acting like a troll. Your statements are trollish. You already know my situation and where I'm going to be with it. And yet you continue to try and yap like a chihuahua. I'm not going to kick you off of here. I'm just going to make sure that you don't want to come back. Really? Because you're acting like a dumbass and a communist. I figure you got it. You're having a debate. You're having a debate between the two brain cells that are in your head. And I think that black hole you call an asshole is winning. There is no debate on my channel. Because ABC and CNN ain't going to feed you the answers. But if you like, I'll invite you to Houston and I'll prove you the answers. Just another wrong point of view? Let me give you a statement of fact and prove it to you with bona fide facts. Something that's you cannot possibly any way, shape, or form deny. Chicago and Houston, number 3, number 4 size-wise in cities, right? It is within fractions of 1,000 people on which one's bigger from day to day. Chicago outlawed all guns. Houston went with concealed carry and open carry. Chicago has more shooting deaths every year than Houston. But Houston has more guns and more ammo. So now how in the hell, in any possible way, is your thought even halfway correct that less guns and less ammunition means less death? Go ahead. Tell me how that works. A city that outlawed them all, they're all illegal. They shouldn't be there. Has more shooting deaths than a city that says, if you want it, fucking carry it. Right out there in the open. But you can't. Your statement makes it so that that can't be the truth. But it is the truth. It is a fact. So your facts are completely stupid. Yeah, but for this discussion about the Second Amendment, there is only one small portion of the world, and that's America. Because only America is actually governed by the Constitution. Therefore, Mike M., you can see yourself on out of here. Because I don't have to care about the rest of the world when I'm talking about the Constitution. I've narrowed it down to one country. You want to talk about the rest of the world? Fine. You got to come in and say it's about the rest of the world. It's not about America. And then you would have maybe had a shot. Of which I would have also shot those things down. But that comes from my knowledge that Australia outlawed all firearms. And Sydney, Australia has half the population of Houston. And they're like 1 or 2 more shooting deaths per year over Houston. And that's on an island continent where it's real damn hard to get firearms. The only place that's actually gotten it down where firearms is really, really not the way to go is Japan. And that's because in Japan, you're guilty until proven innocent, and nobody's going to try and prove you innocent. In fact, if you don't want the government of Japan jumping down your backside, you say, oh, that guy had a gun. It's his fault. Come on. In Japan, they still have gun crimes and they still have shootings. In England, they still have gun crimes and they still have shootings. All these places that say, oh, we don't have guns, still have gun crimes and shootings. England, they have knife crimes and knifings. And knives never run out of bullets. So now there's a big push to outlaw knives. Or did they actually get that approved? No, and the states are just figuring out that this is a good way to control overpopulation. We don't need to go with one baby alone like the Chinese did. Give them long enough, they'll shoot each other. Hey, but don't worry about it. Cars kill more than firearms. Go ahead, let that sink in. Cars kill more than firearms. Maybe not the last couple of years, or should I say the last year, with restricted travel. So the only time that cars didn't kill more than firearms is because nobody was going anywhere because of COVID. But COVID didn't kill that many people, and it's still got a 96% recovery rate. Yeah, you feel real sick and you feel real bad, but a lot more people have recovered than actually died from it. Mike, if I went after you with a knife, yes, I absolutely do think that I could kill as many people as I could with an AR-15. Because I can't carry enough bullets to do what I could do with a knife. Inside of 21 feet, if you had a firearm and I had a knife, you're a dead man. That's all I got to say on that subject. But you want to be stupid and ask me a stupid question. Am I threatening you? No, it's not. It's not a threat at all. But you're going to ask a question, you're going to get an answer. And it might not be the answer you like. Bad knees, old and fat, and I can still cover 21 feet faster than you can pull, aim, and fire a gun. Unless you are all but the top 5 firearms people that practice quick draw. And being that they're all American and none of them have ever argued the points that you're trying to argue, I know you ain't one of those 5. I believe that the last time I heard, I'm going to show you real quick. This one actually might not get you in trouble because it's a multi-tool and it does not actually have a straight-on point. Whereas that one would get you in trouble. Now, neither one would have ever gotten me in trouble in the state of Texas because none of them were wider than the palm of my hand. And I've been known to carry 3 or 4 knives at all times. You know what I've never heard about happening here in Texas? Even though we've got all the guns in the world, or just about all the guns in the world, I've never heard about anybody throwing acid in each other's face. Though I've heard about it in England. Do I feel safer with guns and knives? Of course I do. Because a straight statement of fact. I would prefer to have a tool and not need it over need it and not have it. Firearm is nothing but a tool. It is a force multiplier. It allows me to reach out and touch somebody in a mighty brutal way from far enough away that they cannot get to me. Were I in a situation where I had to defend somebody else's life, I would be mighty handy with a gun. Of course, I'd also be mighty handy with a knife. It just doesn't really matter to me. These are the things I've already trained myself, steeled myself for. The things I know I would do. Good man, Cliff. I like it. Well, I got a question for you, Mike. Am I innocent until proven guilty? Because I come in contact with a weapon all the damn time and I'm still innocent. So you can shove that thought straight up your ass again. What about the innocent people? Oh my God. Let's see. What about the people that you're stealing oxygen from? I mean, if you'd stop breathing, our oxygen supply would go up. We'd all live better. Because people wouldn't kill each other with knives and rocks and bricks and drop buildings on each other and do things to make sure that other people died. People are still going to kill people. Mike, you got to come to the conclusion that people are the problem. It's not these inanimate objects. I mean, if I found out that somebody's allergic to bees and I knew how to get bees to go after them just by spraying them with a certain pheromone or something, is it a weapon? No, I could spray it all over myself because I'm not allergic to bees. I might get stung a couple times, but so what? It's fine. But it kills that person? Well, then it's a weapon. So is it a weapon or is it just a pheromone, a scent? And there it is. And I would never deny a woman the chance to defend herself from a guy or defend her children. You know the statement, you don't want to step in between a mama bear and her cubs? Well, there you go. It's not about the firearm. It just comes to the fact that you can't legislate evil out of the world. You can legislate the ability of people to defend themselves from evil, but you still didn't take evil out of the world. Well, Steph, you know, those people that think you can remove all the weapons in the world and that the world would be a safer place, they're living in that thought that this world is a perfect place. Well, this world is not a perfect place. Now, let me tell you about some of the things I've killed. I've killed coyotes. I've killed wild boars. Killed a few deer. Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention, these are all things I've killed with an AR-15. I've killed prairie dogs. I've killed rabbits. I've killed squirrels. I killed a shit ton of paper targets. Killed a snake. Shot a couple of vultures. It's big business. So is medicine. And medicine kills more people than firearms every year. So as long as it made me feel good about myself, no. Let's see, I shot boars because they're tearing up the land. It was the right thing to do. I shot a snake because I didn't want to get bit. And that damn rattlesnake pretty much had me in a bad spot. I shot a rabbit because I wanted to eat. And rabbits breed like, rabbits. Which also tend to breed like, hogs. Coyotes. Because they'll actually come out and take down your own dogs, and they are not good around your livestock. And as I've said, I've never actually had to kill a person with a firearm. But there's been many a times when I've been real happy to have them. I'm going to a good place. I am in a good place. Welcome to Texas, motherfucker. Let me guess, you're going to go to YouTube and try to get them to pull this thing down because you think I've threatened you. I haven't threatened you. I've never threatened you. I have told you truthful statements. It is fact statements, and that's why you will try to argue with me and lose. Fact. I stick to fact. You don't like fact? I'm sorry about your luck. Yeah, you don't enjoy the conversation. You know you don't. Yeah, and spoons give you diabetes. Never made an ice cream sundae without a spoon. That's when I get to be ambidextrous. Howdy, Cliff. Howdy, Skip. Oh, this guy was trying to say that if you take guns and ammo out of the world, that there would be less killing. Of which I said, no, there wouldn't be. Because as long as cars still kill as much as firearms. Now, here's the other truth about firearms deaths. Somewhere around 50% of firearm deaths is suicide. Let's look at that. That means 50% of the people who've actually died from a firearm have killed themselves. Didn't hurt nobody but themselves. Well, I know I've never seen a gun jump up without a finger pressed to the trigger. So what in the fuck are you talking about, Mike? You're just an idiot, spouting bullshit that you've never done the research on. A car's going to sit out there and do nothing, just like a gun's going to sit right here and do nothing. It's not until the person picks it up and does something. Howdy, Ron. We've got some troll named Mike M in here. He really has a problem with firearms in general. Really? So they would have just cut their own throat or thrown a rope over a tree. People who are going to commit suicide are going to commit suicide, whether they have firearms or not. So, Mike, your point is again busted. You again failed to do the research. Go ahead, Mike. Think it through. Hey, if you weren't born, you wouldn't be able to commit suicide. We'll just go ahead and outlaw birth because that's the number one cause of all death ever. Go ahead, Mike. You first. You stop being alive to stop the whole process. And don't ever think about reproducing because that's going to kill somebody one of these days. Go ahead, Mike. Don't you dare have sex. In fact, don't even jack off because that's basically committing swimmer suicide. Hell, you're killing billions with each squirt. No, Steph, he won't make videos. There's no way in hell he'll make videos after this. Because he knows if he ever makes a video, I'll be there and I'm going to make all kind of fun comments all over his crappy videos. Y'all remember what I said, send me all your trolls? And I meant it. I love it. This is what I do to people on Twitter. I hit them with fact, and I keep hitting them with fact, and I keep hitting them with fact. And they don't have to actually like it, but eventually they're going to have to accept the fact that fact is still fact. Hey, Mike, if you set a gun here in the chair and it sits here all day, did it shoot anybody or did it just sit right there? But guns are deadly. It had intent. Well, its intent was to just sit there. Mike, if your viewpoint is to remain ignorant, then really this channel's not for you. Ron, and I gotta tell you, I feel for you, and I wish your friend hadn't have been that distraught. But it goes back to my statement of a person who is determined to commit suicide is going to find a way. Okay, you're going to try and understand. The hardest thing for people to understand about American freedoms is the responsibility that comes with it. It's not an easy task to accept that responsibility. And it's even harder to fully understand the responsibility. But it's the responsibility of each and every individual that chooses to be an American, whether it be naturalization or by birth. And we should all be ready to fully commit ourselves to completely and totally securing those freedoms. Now, a lot of people do not believe in those freedoms, and I still allow them to have every opportunity to see those freedoms as what they are. You have the freedom to choose whether you have a firearm or not in the United States. Well, the gay hotline, I know I didn't sign up for your website, so I'm not worried about it. Well, Mike, as far as me and my freedoms go, nobody wants to take my freedoms away. Nobody is that pissed off at themselves. At some point, I'm going to be removing comments from this live video, so, whatever. Oh, Mike, believe me, you're right. No one's out to get me. But as I've said before, I've made sure to take the responsibility so that nobody's out to get me. Well, being that I'm married and my wife is pretty damn hot, I'm pretty sure I won't be looking at LGBTQPRZS or whatever other thing. Oh no, they aren't trolling me. I'm pretty sure they're trolling Mike M. Yeah, I know. It's, they start looking at this and they say good looking, and that's how you know it's A, troll, and B, stupid. All right, Everett, you take care. Make sure to wash your hands. Night, Step Skip. Hey, y'all remember Chad's going to have his Zoom meeting here in just a little bit. Call it 55 minutes or so. If y'all are trying to go there, I'm not mentioning his channel with trolls and more trolls. Let me guess, next is going to be the vegetarian hotline. Mike, if you know who Chad is, maybe you can. Which is why I'm not mentioning his name. Other than his name. And why do I put my actual name out there for the whole world to see? Because I can honestly say I just don't care. Hell, if someone stole my identity, I'd make them pay me money to take it back. I'm also willing to bet that the gay, lesbian, and LGBTQRSZ, whatever it was, hotline, all came from the same computer. Who wants to bet on that one? Oh, I already told you, Houston. It ain't no problem getting to Houston. Problem then becomes, why would you want to come? And if you're saying that you're coming just to pick a fight with me, well, then you're the one making a statement of threat. It would just be that statement. Howdy, Boca. Glad to see you. You take care. Let Neptune know that we're thinking about him. Well, Mike, how good of buddies are they? Would you also say to them, you should get rid of your guns and ammo because that'll save people's lives? I mean, it wouldn't, but go ahead and say it. Yeah, that we do have. We have some great barbecue. Now, if you're wanting ribs, I'd suggest Memphis. And pig, I'd talk about the Carolinas. Texas is not the end-all, beat-all of barbecue. Now, if you're talking about brisket, and you're talking about Texas-style brisket, thank you, Boca. I appreciate it. Well, Mike, there's probably a reason why we don't listen. We don't listen to people who refuse to take their own responsibility for their freedom. If you choose to believe that it's gun-ho or gun-whore or whatever, well, great. I'm wearing green. Catching us on Chad's after he showers. Well, if you've been hanging out with Chloe and Jess, you probably need a shower and maybe a strong shot of penicillin. I would also suggest draining the hot tub and giving that a strong scrubbing with some Clorox. Just trying to be helpful. See, Mike, what you seem to fail to realize is that freedom is a responsibility. You can't depend on somebody else for your freedom. Because if you choose to depend on somebody else for your freedom, then you're actually subservient to that entity, whether it be the government or some other person. And that's not free. That's just fact. Another cat in the door. Because if anything, you have to always remember, anything, person, government that can give it to you is also big enough that they can take it away from you. And the last time people from the UK came to the United States and said, "You got to give up your guns," we shot them. A couple years later, this guy by the name of Thomas Jefferson penned this document known as the Constitution. But before that, he also penned this other document called the Declaration of Independence. I'm sure that over in the UK, Irish, Ireland, it's right there. You ought to be able to get right around to that document. It's probably on the internet if you want to look it up. But one thing I'm really completely capable of telling you is a fact. Giving up your freedom for security means you don't have either, and you didn't deserve the one you wanted. And yet your country capitulated. you attained, but you still don't have. How many freedoms did you give up since then, Mike? Do you have the freedom to have firearms there, Mike? Go ahead. Tell us the answer. We already know the answer, but go ahead and tell it. Do you have that freedom? There you go. Y'all gave that one up. You're talking about an educated person trying to tell me to look up a question that I was leading you into so that you could basically get slapped in the head with it. You don't have to like my method. I don't care. And if you look at the description to any of my videos, it will also say, not for those who are easily offended. So I do appreciate that you're not easily offended. But you're not even having a taxing conversation. Oh God, Ireland's what? One little bitty chunk of an isle that has no guns because they gave up that freedom. Cheers, Skip. Being that you could fit all of Ireland inside of Harris County, it's little. There you go. Hey, it's just you and me, brother. There ain't no one to help you out now. But coming in here talking to me about giving up guns because you're scared over in Ireland, if you're scared, do something about it. Create the next weapon that's going to make sure that everybody's safe. All you got to do is figure out some way to make sure that everybody within 30 feet of you just automatically falls over. You should be good at that point. Yeah, wasn't the Titanic built in Ireland? Or was that just by the Irish? Or was it potato famine you gave to the rest of the world? How'd y'all do in the last Olympics? Have you ever won a World Cup? Men's or women's? Man, Y'all did have some musical talent, though. I will give you that. Y'all gave us laughter, that's for certain, because we keep laughing at you. But specifically you, it's the Irish pub. Come on. That's like saying you gave people a reason to drink. As far as poetry goes, haiku's a poetry, and that came from Japan. And if we look at it, haiku's been out since well before any Irish poetry. Sorry about your luck. You're getting hurt again. No, the color green was always there. Y'all just claimed it as your own color. You gave us a rock to lick. That's right. You gotta like lean way out over the edge of a castle wall and upside down, and then you can lick a rock. I bet you I am too. I believe we could trace it back to Clan Younger. But when they got over here, they started calling themselves Younger. Go a couple of generations, you'll find Cole Younger in my background. But I'm not worried about it. I believe the clan colors are all Ireland blue. No, never looked up your country at all. Should I sing him a lullaby? Oh, Mikey boy, the pipes are calling. Probably is a Northern Irish thing. Not as white as the world would like to think. In case y'all are wondering why I keep getting up, I got cats that want in. And then about 5 minutes later, someone will let them out the back door. Up here just to sit there and call somebody a scum? Ooh, I'm so hurt by your words. I need a safe space. Let me give up all my guns instead of providing my own safe space. Get the fuck out of here. As far as I can tell, it's probably just you and the 3 hotlines. They're waiting for you. Well, that's pretty deep in there. That's what she said. You could ask. I might answer it. I might not. You might not like the answer. Haven't checked in quite some time. It's actually extremely high. Somewhere up there I've got a Mensa acceptance letter, but it doesn't mean shit to me. IQ is just IQ. I've known people with high IQs that are still stupid as a fucking post. And I've known people with low IQs that are still smart as fuck. Now you're trying to insult my intelligence. Okay, so anyways, anytime you're ready to pass your electrician's test, you're welcome to show up. And then after that, we'll see if you can pass the National Board Inspections test for boiler inspection. Go ahead. Anytime you're ready. I know, real hard to insult that when you don't even have a fucking chance of trying. Come on back then. Well, for 18 years I was. Then I went on to become a boiler inspector. And I doubt that you could pass either one of those tests. In fact, planet-wide population of people that have actually passed both those tests is about 1,000 people total. Come on. Except for music, I can do just about anything I put my mind to. I've always wanted to play music, but I just can't. I don't seem to have that talent. In the entire world, yes, there's about 1,000 people who have passed the electrician's exam and the boiler inspection exam. Of the whole entire planet, 7 billion something people, there's about 1,000 of us that have done both. There is one that I know of that has an IQ less than 150. And he's autistic and a savant. Now, you couldn't get that kid to tie his own shoes, but he could flat out slam through anything that you needed. Give you a question. About what? I'm not going to be on here long enough to formulate you a actual electrical question. And those would be the easy ones. There's no way in hell I'm going to be on here long enough to formulate you a boiler inspection question. Hell, we'll just go to ASME Section 8 and let you go. Fine. We'll go with the easiest question. Welder and boiler guidelines. What is the difference? You put one too many I's on there for Section 8. That'd be Section 9. If I'm counting that right, that looks to be 4. Cool. So did I, as both an electrician and a boiler inspector. Yeah, I worked for Shell, Exxon, Mobil. Of course, all of that was as a contractor. Then as a boiler inspector for most every one of the smaller ones up and down the Houston Ship Channel. Which goes from Houston all the way down towards Galveston. Lots and lots of stuff. Was or still are? Okay, then I will give you the not worried about my safety. Let's see. I will give you the one of the easiest ones. Why do boiler professionals always talk about 1/4 inch of calcium scale? This one would be just one of the easiest questions on the freaking planet for boiler professionals. And for electricians, let's see. Which wire carries electrical current? Just remember, in Ireland, y'all are using 50 hertz, and here in America, we're using 60 hertz. Okay, simplified statement. The reason why boiler professionals always go on about 1/4 inch of calcium scale is because at 1/4 inch of calcium scale, it takes exactly 2 times as much heat to actually produce the same amount of steam as a fully clean device. Meaning you're having to use a lot more fuel, but you're also having to create more heat inside the pipe, which is normally completely going to cause a meltdown of some sort. That meltdown can possibly produce a BLEVE event. BLEVE, which is boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. When you see a very large drum of ammonia just lost my wording there. If you Google West Texas ammonia explosion, you should be able to see a BLEVE event. They're very destructive. The last one that happened, they're still talking about it on the news from time to time. Everybody saw it. That weird, almost nuclear looking explosion that happened in the warehouse. Where was it? I want to say Middle East, but I think that's wrong. Anyways, most everybody saw that one on the news, and they were all confusing it with a boiler explosion. No, it was just a BLEVE event. Yes, it levels everything. It's what tends to happen. Okay, as far as the electrical question that I posed, every wire Palestine? Yeah, I believe it might have been Palestine. As far as the electrical question I posed, every wire can carry electrical current. It's why you'll see an electrician, a good electrician, test that ground wire and that neutral before he believes that it's actually dead. It's why all good electricians always believe that the hot wire is hot, even if it's been tested and has been said to be dead. Too many ways to turn that sucker back on and ring you up. Needless to say, I've been on here almost 2 hours. About 20 minutes until a certain Zoom chat's going to start. If y'all know the address, great. If not, look for Chad's video from 1 or 2 days ago that says specifically Zoom. I believe there will be a link there in it, and the video should give you the password. As per always, Mike, this even goes for you. I have really enjoyed y'all being here. No, I'm not mad. I am not crazy, and no, I'm not one of these insane people that just believes in guns and ammo. But I do trust my own. As for everybody, take care of yourselves. Have a blessed life. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, who is? And take care of each other as you best can. It is the best chance that we all have to be a fair and good society, is that we share these ideas. As far as sharing the idea of giving up guns and ammo, I'm not a believer in that. You'll never get me to be a believer in that. Sorry. Just going ahead and covering that for you. As per always, because I'm almost talked out. Long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I'll see you soon.